Welcome to week 10 of Over and Under. So glad everyone could join us. Please, before we get started, hit the like button, share, subscribe, tell your friends about our show. Man, we really need to grow, and we're struggling a little bit, but we're growing very, very, very slow. So please give us a hand and help us. We really appreciate it, man. We truly, really would appreciate it. So before we get started, I want to apologize for the week that I had last week. My God, I was absolutely fucking horrible. I mean, I had 3 push games. That never happens, does it? I mean, I had
Not
one all
usually.
year. I had 3 push games in 1 week. It's unbelievable. I had a total of 4 wins, 3 push games. It was under 500 for the first time since we've been doing the show, and I truly apologize, and I will do better this week. There was just a lot of freaky games last week, wasn't there, man?
was.
I mean, I couldn't believe
A
my
lot of
picks.
weird outcomes.
A lot of them.
Lot.
My God, it just blew my mind. It just kept getting worse for me. I mean, my God, I had no luck whatsoever. Even on my single picks, man, I didn't make no money whatsoever. It's getting horrible for me, honestly. I mean, I am off my game, man, but I'm going to try to get back on it this week. So let's get started with our first game. Should be a really good game. It's over in Germany, is it? I think, yeah. Tampa Bay and Seattle. Seattle, God, is shocking the shit out of me. I went against them last week against my better judgment, and I paid for it. Man, they are looking good. As a whole solid team, they're looking good. Finally, we had 2 teams that were both struggling last week with Tampa Bay and the Rams, and somehow Brady pulled off a 45-second miracle like he normally does. They still didn't look good at all. You know, and
I think that was more of bad calls off of the defense of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
More than anything.
I tell you what, I'm struggling with this game because Seattle is so hot, doing so well. But you know what, man? This is they're actually playing for something now. Tampa Bay is. They're still in the hunt for that division, and you know this is do or die really for them. It really is. And you could put Brady on a do or die situation, he's going to come out of it about 70% of the time, I think. So I'm going to go ahead against my better judgment again. I'm going to take Brady and give you the 2.5. Actually, they're getting 2.5, I think. Let me make sure of that, Justin. Are they getting 2.5 or giving 2.5?
They're giving 2.5.
They're giving 2.5. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give you the 2.5. I'm taking Tom and Tampa Bay.
Well, Brian, I think last week was a fluke. Horrible game management by Sean McVay and the Rams, or that game should have been salted at the end. I'm going to take Seattle this week. It's a neutral field, neutral site. I think Seahawks win this one. They played very well last week. Geno Smith still is playing good. He's probably in the lead for comeback player of the year.
Oh, no doubt.
Between
about
him and Barkley of the Giants. That's a toss-up at this point. But I'm going to take Seattle. I'm going to take Seattle, and I'm going to take the money line.
Yeah, that's a good pick. He also might be in MVP conversation. I mean, in the conversation. I don't think he's going to lead or anything like that, but he's definitely in the conversation. All right, let's move on to our next game, which is I think is going to be the MVP. Kansas City, man, Mahomes is a tough cookie. I swear to God, he is. Tennessee played them awful tough last week. They really did.
They should have been beat.
Yeah, somehow they pulled it
Somehow.
out. They're going against my buddies Jacksonville Jags, and I picked Jacksonville last week. That was the only game, really true game that I hit that I liked. You know what I mean? I hit them, but I can't go with them this week. No way, shape, or form. Kansas City's given 9.5. I don't like the 9.5. Over and under is 50. I'm going to go ahead and take Kansas City and go over since we're called over under.
I'm going to take Kansas City. For some reason, the money line is really low for this type of game. But I'm going to be safe. I'm going to take Kansas City in the money line again this week, Brian.
All right, let's move on to our next game. My God, this is a wild game. Is Josh Allen going to sit or is he going to play?
I think he's going to play.
Well, you know what? It really doesn't matter to me because I'm going to tell you what. If they got a Super Bowl ready team, Case Keenum, is that who it is? Yeah, can step in and secure a win for them. No doubt about it. If they have a Super Bowl team, which everyone says they does, and I believe they do. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take the money line on this one because it's only a 3.5 point spread. I'm going to go ahead and take the money line and take the Bills, and that's it.
I want to say he plays, but I think it'll hamper him. I'm going to take the upset this week, Brian. I'm going to take Minnesota to come in Buffalo and get the upset. I'm going to take Minnesota's money line this week.
Well, I tell you what, you might be picking a good pick actually because they're probably going to set him, man. I mean, he could have the injury that he has. It can cause where he has to have Tommy John surgery.
Right.
And after Tommy John surgery, a lot of athletes are hit. So I don't think they're going to risk playing him. I'm not sure, but I'm just going to go on the assumption that Case Keenum's going to start, and that's why I'm going to go ahead and stick with the Bills. Though I think they're a Super Bowl ready team. So, all righty, let's move on to our next one, which is the Browns against Miami. Miami's giving up 3.5. Over and under is 49. God, Miami's looking good. Chicago played them pretty damn good last week, didn't they?
They did.
Our Bears did pretty good. The offense looked
offense
pretty
is
good,
coming
man.
along, finally.
Like I said, though, the defense can't stop nobody. You know what I mean? But anyway, I like the way Miami's looking. They're undefeated with Tua as their quarterback this year. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but they are. I mean, they lost games when he was out, but they ain't lost a game since he's been quarterbacking. I'm going to go ahead and take Miami and give you the 3.5.
I think this is going to be a close game. I'm going to pick another upset this week, Brian. I'm going to take Cleveland. If you give me 3.5 points, I think this is going to be a one-possession game. I'm going to take Cleveland, and I'm going to take that 3.5.
All right, let's move on to our next game. Texans against the Giants. Giants are giving up 4.5. God damn, that just seems like a lot to me. The Giants, they're not clobbering people or nothing like that. And Texans have been in most games. They really have. Heck, they played Philadelphia pretty tough the first half in that game. I don't know, though, man. I like the Giants. They're having a pretty good year. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the Giants. I'm going a lot of over and under. You know I hate doing that. I'm putting myself on the line. I'm going to take the Giants and over is what I'm going to do. Over 40 points.
Brian, I'm going the same way. I'm going to take the money line, and I'm going to take the over. It's 41.5. I think both teams score a little bit in the first half. I think it'll slow down in the second half. But I'm going to take the Giants, and I'm going to go over this one as well.
All right, let's move on to our next game. God, man, Saints, they looked horrible last week,
did.
man. I swear to God, I thought I picked them, and I don't even have to say it. Almost every team I picked looked horrible. Anyway, the Saints didn't look good at all. They're going into Pittsburgh playing the depleted Pittsburgh Steelers team, but they still play with pride down there in Heinz Field. I'm going to go on a limb. I'm taking Pittsburgh to upset the Saints. Saints are favored by 1.5. I'm taking Pittsburgh, man.
Brian, I'm going to stay away from this game. This one's a pick'em game, and the Saints looked absolutely horrible, like you said last week. Steelers are vying for a high draft pick this season, or excuse me, next season. The line is 40.5. I'm going to go over on this one. I think both teams get at least 3 scores. Well, I'm hoping at least 3 touchdowns apiece, but I'm going to go over this one.
All right, let's move on to our next game. This should be a good one, man. Tennessee looked really good last week against Kansas City. They really, really did. They're playing the Broncos. The Broncos are trying to snap out of their little deal they got going. I'm struggling with this one. I really, truly am. Oh, my gosh. What is the over and under on this game, Just?
The over and under is 38.5. That's really low.
38.5. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and stay away from this picking. I don't know. I really don't have a clue which one's going to win this game. Broncos or Tennessee. I like Tennessee at home, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the over is what I'm going to do in this game. I'm going to take the over.
Brian, I'm going to go the same way, but I cannot bet against my Broncos. I think they finally found a rhythm last week. I think they continue this week. I'm going to go over this one, and I'm going to take my Broncos this week for the upset. The line, 2.5. The money line is really small. This is an upset on the books, but I'm going to take the Broncos, and I'm going to take the over that 38.5 points.
All right, let's move on to our next game, and I'm glad I can say this week I'm going with my Chicago Bears. We got the Detroit Lions going to Chicago to play the Bears. I don't give a shit what happens in this game. I hate betting against my Bears, and I'm not this week. I'm taking my Bears to win, and I'll give you the 3 points even.
I'm going the same way. The Bears' offense has showed up the last 2 weeks. They finally found something that Justin Fields can do well, and that's run the ball. Broke a record last week, the most rushing yards by a quarterback in a game. I'm going to take the Bears too, Brian. I'm going to take the money line. I'm going to take Chicago.
All right, let's move on to our next game. This one here, whew, my God, the Green Bay Packers looked horrible.
They do.
Oh, my God, couldn't even beat Detroit. And they always beat Detroit, man. Whew. He did some interceptions last week,
I see
too, didn't
Aaron
he?
Rodgers leaving after this year.
He might.
I think they break that. I think he does.
I think they should go ahead and start Love and give him a shot and see what's going on with him. To be honest with you, I mean, I would never take him over Rodgers, no doubt about that. But anyway, I don't know about this game, man. I hate betting against the Packers at Green Bay because they play so much different at home, man. They're just a whole different team at home. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm not going to mess with the points on this. I'm going to go ahead and take I'm going to take the Cowboys.
I think I'm going to go the same way, Brian. Cowboys vying for that division. I think they come into Lambeau Field and beat Green Bay this week. Green Bay is looking absolutely horrible the last few weeks. I don't think this week's any different against a very, very good Dallas team. I'm going to take Dallas, and I'm going to take the money line.
All right. Sounds good. Let's move on to our next one. This is a weird one to me, man. This has been a weird team all year long, and that's our Indianapolis Colts. My God, what the hell's going on with them? I told you they was going to fire him. If they struck out, I told you he was gone. By God, he was gone.
But with the weird hire, I don't know about it. Jeff Saturday.
Hey, Jeff Saturday was a great player, but he ain't coaching nothing. I mean, he did coach some high school football, but you never know. I'll tell you what, he has some knowledge. He was down in the trenches. The offensive linemen, they're in everything. They're involved in every play.
That's what that hire was, because that offensive line has been absolutely horrendous.
If he can just get them to play, hey, they might. Who knows? And they're playing a Raiders team. To me, is the most disappointing team in the league to me so far. That's me personally.
They put, besides Devontae Adams, put both of their top receivers, their tight end and wide receiver, on the IR. That's going to be huge for Derek Carr.
Yeah, that's going to be wild. So are they playing or are they not playing?
They're not. They're on the IR for the next 4 to 6 weeks.
Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to take my Indianapolis Colts, by God. And Jeff Saturday, come through for me. Let's get these guys on the offensive line to block and play. I was going to give up altogether on them, but I'm going to go one more week with my Colts. I'm taking the Colts for the upset.
Brian, I'm going to stay away from the money line and the spread. Low over and under, that's 40. I always take the over, but I can't this week. I have no idea, besides Devontae Adams, who Derek Carr is going to throw to, and the Colts just don't score. I think they don't. I think they scheme very well against Derek Carr this week and put every double team they can on Devontae Adams, forcing Derek Carr to throw to somebody else. I'm going to take the under on this one. It's 40.5. I'm going to stay away from the money line and the spread, and I'm going to take under those 40 points.
I'll tell you what, Jeff Saturday, if he can shake that offensive line up and play just you know what, they had -2 yards last week in the first quarter. Can you believe that? So if he goes with no yards in the first quarter of this game, he's beat last week. I mean, my God, it's just unbelievable how poorly that offensive line is playing and how poorly the whole team is playing, to be honest with you, man. And I don't know. I'm just going to go with him one more time. You know, that would be a great story. If the Colts pulled it off, that'd be a great story for Jeff Saturday.
I could see that happening.
And you know what? The Raiders are so far gone. They might be playing for a draft pick. I don't know. You know what I mean? But I'm going to go ahead and take the Colts. Like I said, excuse me. And hopefully they'll pull it through. All right, let's move on to our next game. This is a wild one. Arizona and the Rams. Two teams that are very disappointing, I'm sure, to both cities. My God, the Rams, man, won the Super Bowl last year. And who did they lose? I don't know of anybody they lost except for the receiver that's hurt.
They won a lot of close games last year.
Odell Beckham.
Usually that don't, into the next year, the percentages catch up to you.
Yeah, don't follow. You don't always win them close games, that's for sure. That was a close one last week against Tampa Bay. I mean, they had it. Actually, they had it. First down, all they needed.
Bad play calling on that.
Sean McVay.
Push back into a prevent defense with 45 seconds. That you just letting them drop down the field with a little 8 to 10 yard passes. You can't do that against Tom Brady. No. He'll make you pay every time. He did last week.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do, though, man. I'm going to go ahead and take the Rams at home. And McVay, sure, they got to snap out of it. They're too good of a team. I mean, they got some good players, man. I'm going to go ahead. Like I said, I'm taking the Rams. I'm only give 1.5. That's
another pick. There's a lot of pick'em games this week.
I'm taking the Rams all day on this week.
We can win a lot of money this week or lose a lot of money on these pick'em games. But I'm going to take the Rams, too. I think the Rams, they had the game last week and won. Just bad management, bad clock management by the coaching staff. I'm going to take the Rams at home, and I'm going to take the money line, Brian.
All right, this is another tough game for me. I'm having a lot of trouble with this, man. LA Chargers against the San Francisco 49ers. Spread is 7. San Francisco's giving up 7. That's a lot of points to give up to a decent squad that I thought. I mean, they haven't lived up to their expectations. That's for damn sure. And everyone thought they would be right in the thick of everything. And guess what? They actually are. They got 5 wins, so they're not completely out of the playoff picture yet. But I can't bet against San Francisco at home, man. I like that team. I think they're going to be a force in the playoffs as well, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take San Francisco. But them points, God, I don't like giving up a touchdown. I really, really don't. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to take the money line on this game, man, and take San Francisco home.
Brian, I'm going to go the same way. That's touchdowns, a lot of points in this game. I think it's going to be within a one-score game. So I'm going to take the money line this week as well.
All right, sounds great. Let's move on to our last game, which is Washington Commanders against the Philadelphia Eagles. Philly at home. Everyone knows Philly's undefeated. It's a divisional game. They're giving up 11 points. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go out on a limb. I do it every week. Philly's killed me all year long. I'm taking the Commanders, man. I'm taking the Commanders in that 11 points.
You taking 11 points?
I am.
I almost did as well. I think it's a blowout, though.
Probably is.
I'm going to take Philly's at home. I'm going to take Philly. I'm going to take the money line. This is another safe one. This is my lock for the week, as the Vikings were last week. I'm going to take Philly at home. I'm going to take the money line, bro.
Wow. All right, that's definitely a lock. I mean, I think, but I'm gonna go ahead. Like I said, I want the 11 points and give me Washington. Let's see what happens. That was a short week.
Another one.
Another short week. What the hell's going on? Everybody's taking breaks and going across seas and all this and that, kind of splitting everything up. Anyway, thanks to everyone for joining us. Like I said at the start of the show, please help us grow the show, man. Please, and leave comments. I say it every week, and I can't get no one to leave a comment on our show. Please leave some comments so we know you're watching and we know who's watching. Give us some pointers to how we can improve. The season is getting close to being over with. I mean, we're rolling, man. We'll be in the playoffs before you know it. And, just like I said, just keep watching, keep sharing, help me get our content out there. I really, truly appreciate it. And with that, I'll let everyone go, and we will see you next week. And thank you so much for joining Over and Under. See ya.